How many people here love love?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many people are in love? I'm about to shit all over that. So.
All right.
I'm currently going through a recession divorce. It's like a regular divorce, except I'm still married. And I thought tonight is my wedding anniversary. So I thought I'd tell the very special story about how shit went really, really wrong. So I've been married about 3 years. My wife and I lived in Baltimore. And we weren't talking and we weren't fucking. And that's usually like two bad signs. Like those are two things you want in a relationship. You want to be talking or fucking. So one day I was like, you know what? We're growing apart. Let me put in some work today. Have you guys ever tried to put in some special work for your lady?
Yeah.
So I let my lady sleep in. And I was like, when she gets up, I'm going to make her breakfast. We're going to talk. We're going to make love. It'll be beautiful. And she slept in. And she slept in. She slept for like 20 goddamn hours. And finally I was like, baby, what do you want for breakfast? And she was like, pancakes. So I said, all right, I'm going to go to the store, get some pancakes. When I come back, I'll make breakfast. I went to the store. I came back about 10 minutes later, and she was gone. And I called her. I was like, baby, what'd you do? Oh, I realized I slept in. I wanted to go to the gym, and then I'll be at work. So that's when the little voice in the back of my head, my spider senses started going off. And they were like, Ian, check her email. And I was like, all right, I'll check the email. So I pull it up, and I was like, what do I search? And the little voice was like, keyword search the word fuck. I was like, nobody's that stupid. But I searched the word fuck. And I found a very special email between her and that ex-boyfriend she knew goddamn well she wasn't supposed to be talking to. And this was a conversation that she had had, and it was everything you never want to hear as a man. It said, my husband is a fucking loser. He can't hold down a job. He has a little dick. I have to think about you when I'm fucking him. And hey, don't talk to my wife like that. And I was shaking, and I went outside and I smoked a pack of Newports. Not like one or two, like a pack. And I decided I better call someone, because my therapist said if you're ever going to do something crazy, like batshit crazy, call me first. So I called her, and she didn't pick up. So I called her like 16 more times, and the bitch still didn't pick up. And I was like, I'm no longer responsible for my actions. Now, my best friend, he got ordained as a minister to like perform the ceremony, and then he started teaching marriage counseling after that. So I called him, and I was like, dude, this is what's going on. What do I do? And he's like, I don't know what Jesus would do, but I'd kill the bitch. I was like, it's probably not an option. I have a hard time lying, and I've seen CSI once or twice, and getting caught. He's like, I don't know, dude, it's out of my wheelhouse. Just try and communicate. So I called my wife, and I was like, baby, I found a very special email, and you need to come home so we can talk about it like adults.
Oh.
So she came home, and it started out good. We were talking. I said, the marriage is over. She said, I'm cool with that. I said, I haven't been happy for a while. She said, neither have I. And we left it at that. Marriage was over. We were adults. I went in the other room, and I called my dad. And I was like, Dad, can you get me a flight home tonight? And he was like, yeah. And then my wife said, don't fucking tell him I cheated on you. And I was like, baby, be quiet. He's like, no, your parents already fucking hate me. Don't fucking tell him I cheated on you. And I was like, Dad, I'm going to have to call you back. That's when I realized it was probably time to fuck my marriage back on track. And I decided it was time to do a hate fuck. Some people are like, Ian, you mean rape? No, this is not rape. Rape is different. Rape is because you can't get any pussy. A hate fuck is because you're trying to communicate. And reconnect. So I grabbed her by the arm, and I threw her on the bed. And I'm not normally that strong, but apparently I had the strength of like 10 bears. And I came over, and she had the appropriate amount of terror in her face. Like Ermsky should have. And I said, baby, we're going to fuck this out. And she said, no. And then I tried to take her pants off. And that's when it got a little rapey. And she kicked me. And that shit took me down. And I got back up, and I was like, I'm doing this because I love you. And I tried to grab her, and she kicked me again. And so I punched out of her leg. Hey, fuck you. What would you do in that situation? You would have hit her before the conversation. So I've been to anger management since then, and they said like what I was really trying to say with my fist was, why don't I matter to you? But I don't think that's what she took away from the whole interaction. I don't think that's what she thought I was communicating. So a little voice in my head, it was like, if you hit this chick, it's gonna be over. And then the other more evil voice was like, it needs to be over, hit that bitch. So I started wailing on her, and then I stopped. Because like the next thing to do was to kill her. And my mother may have raised a wife beater, but she did not raise a murderer. So I stopped, and like, she was gone in a cloud of smoke. She leaves, and I realize like my life is fucking over. And I found myself in a kitchen at the bottom of a bottle of whiskey, and I was thinking about killing myself. And I took the knife, and I started pushing it in the side of my arm, because I'm kind of a bitch, and I want to know if I actually have the balls to like open a vein, because that shit seems like it would hurt a lot. And I don't want to have scars from just trying to do some shit. The story's already hard to tell people. I don't need like bitch scars on top of it. So then I'm like, I'm clearly not gonna be able to cut my fucking wrist open. So then I start like sticking the knife in my neck and pushing it in. And I'm trying to think like, can I open my fucking neck fast enough that I will be able to bleed out before I change my mind and I apply pressure and I survive this shit. Because it's really fucking hard to get a gun when you're drunk in the middle of the night. So those are my options. Now I've had a few friends kill themselves, and I've always thought like, why not just fucking do something crazy first? Like, why not just fucking lose your shit, steal a car, rob a bank, kick a puppy, you know, whatever you've always been up to, but you never had the heart to do. And so I decided to do something I always wanted to do, and I went down to this shitty little hipster bar, and I performed comedy for the first time, and it saved my life. And I've been doing it ever since. And that's the story of how I got into comedy and how my marriage ended. So that's the full story. So, now that I feel like I know you guys, why don't we get a little personal?